let me ask you a question. What does it take to be unique and stand out in the dance community? Well, let's find out. Hello, and welcome back to ZoukNerds. My name is Alisson Sandi, and in today's episode, we have our special guests, Fernando and Olga, talking about their methodology called Zouk Atoms, as well as their path from being in Bremen, Germany, to getting to travel all across Europe and now all over the world. So, let's go. Hello everybody, and welcome back to ZoukNerds. Here we are today with another episode. My name is Alisson Sandi, and we have our co-host, Gui Prada.
Hello, my people.
How are you doing, Gui?
Very good, very well here in Taipei, still in Taipei. Have a good time, don't want to leave.
Yes, I am here today in Germany, in Munich, and coincidentally, we have our guests also from Germany, but from Bremen, and we have Fernando and Olga. Hello, guys.
Hi, lovely people. Here from the north of Germany. It's not as cold as normally. The spring is starting. It's super fine.
That's awesome. So first of all, thank you guys for being here with us. We're very excited about this new season and the topics that we're talking about. Couples who have already achieved a lot of success locally and have a very strong methodology and also a great reputation. But now they're going into that next phase of getting the recognition, not just in their city or country or region, but also all over the world. So to start with, can we get an introduction from you guys, from Fernando and Olga? Tell us a little bit about you guys.
Yes, of course. I'm from Spain, but I came here to Germany to study, and I love the city, I love Bremen, and then I stay here. And at one point, I met one professional Brazilian teacher. The name is Junior Carvalho, and he came from Belém do Pará. And he was visiting the teacher course of Jaime Arosa, like back in the days. And after he came to Bremen like 2005, and I met him in 2008. And 2008 started my journey with Zouk after a couple of years of dancing salsa. And it starts there with going to all the classes for 2 or 3 years, giving 1 hour for free, and after 1 year giving a workshop, and starting with 1 course and 1 more course, and it goes all the way like this till here, like growing very organically. And we meet each other 2018 in the Dutch Congress in Holland. And now you can speak a bit about yourself.
Hello, my name is Olga, and I'm basically from Russia. I met Zouk for the first time. So I met the first time Zouk in university campus. There were one couple, the name was Denise and Anna de Brinke, to my city, and I started with them. My first workshop was with one guy from Amsterdam. I forgot the name. So I started with him. It was just one workshop, and after I continued all these artists. And after I started to go to congresses, I decided to come to Europe to the Congress, and then we met Fernando.
Okay. After a time being together, she decided for herself to move to Bremen. And then
No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, and then we started teaching together, and the pandemic came. And the same that we all were thinking, oh my God, what we do now with our lives in the pandemic time. We start like developing this thing of the Zouk Atoms. And this was maybe the thing of the Zouk Atoms is the thing why we are speaking today.
Yes,
it's possible.
Yes. Yeah, no, I was very excited about this chat with us today because you guys created Zouk Atoms, and I think Zouk Atoms was so inspirational to me. And my experience going to Bremen and dancing with your students was something really impressive to me last year. I think it was last year that I was there in June. So I remember I came to your intermediate class, and I watched the head movement class. And I was dancing to your intermediate students and thinking to myself, this is the first time in a long time that I have been to a class that is called intermediate, where the students are actually intermediate. And I got really fascinated by it. And then I saw the head movement class, and everybody in the head movement class could do the foundations of head movement really well and everything. And then I saw that you guys started traveling to do weekenders with Zouk Atoms and to do some congresses as well. You guys were recently in BDF, and you guys do weekenders in Switzerland, and you travel a little bit, right?
And all neighbors of Germany, it's like Denmark or Holland or Belgium or Poland,
Yeah, and really curious, did you guys do any conscious effort to start being invited to these other places, or is something that started happening more organically?
It started happening more organically. About the conscious part, it's like I don't like so much politics. Like, I don't know, like inviting people because I want to get invited, for example. We are not so good at it, and we are not so good at networking. We have just friends, really friends. And it starts, I think, the very first workshop that we did about the Zouk Atoms. It was in Denmark. It was not even in Bremen. It was in Denmark, in Aarhus, that they have a very beautiful community. And it grows like this. Like we have Brenda and Anderson here, and we start to dance with them, and Brenda start to say, I like it. And then she decides to make more promotion, and it's growing like this. Like we go to one event, we dance with people, and then people realize, oh, here is something different. And then they invite us to go to different places. Or a bit too the other way was with thanks the internet. This was Thailand, that it was a mix of the organizer in Thailand, Shabit, finding our videos and getting interested and buying the online courses. And after Shabit spoke with Brenda, and Brenda said, yeah, I know them. And that's the way, is the way how it was growing. So it was not really conscious decision. So it was happening like this.
From the perspective of the people who were coming to you and telling you, oh, there's something different, could they tell you what was different from their perspective?
Yeah, they say things like, they say always something like, oh, it's very creative and you are going in every direction. It's something like this. And this they say from the leaders. Yeah, from the leader. And from the followers, it's something like, oh, they can go in a direction, they are very soft, they are waiting. They say they are followers that are waiting. But maybe this is something that Guy should say more. Or you too, Alisson, you were here in Bremen too. Yeah.
Yes, and I had an amazing time, and I can also confirm what Guy said before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. This is really cool. This I like. Yeah.
No, it's really nice, I think. And we have this conversation already when I was there. So I went to Bremen to do there 20 hours. It was 20 hours, right?
Yes, 20 hours. So
20 hours.
4 days, 5 hours every day.
I didn't do all of them, but I did all the way to Saturday. And I was really impressed, wondered by the pacing, like the speed that you guys were taking people in that boot camp. Let's take our time in these very important things here. And I remember that you guys had very clearly what you wanted people to achieve in each moment. And you guys had very clearly a distinction, what separates the beginner from the intermediate from the advanced. Could you share a little bit of that with us? What for you two is the beginner, and when does the beginner become intermediate and when they become advanced?
So in my opinion, the regular classes are the perfect environment. So repetition to continue growing. And then you need like clear goals, where the people are and where do you want to bring the people. Yeah. For us, it's very clear that we want that the people have a nice time during the socials. And I was asking a lot of time at the socials, the followers, which is the best leader for them, the leaders, which is the best follower. And then we came always with the same answers. Yeah. It was like the followers, they like leaders that they lead comfortable, clear, and that is somehow playful. Can be with the music, can be with the partner. And the leaders want followers that can follow. This is what they normally say. That can follow. And at that time, I listen always that they are light. Yeah. And then this is the very last goal. And then how you get there in 3 steps. like in the step beginner, in the step intermediate, and in the step advanced. And what do you want from beginners, from leaders, from followers? What do you want from the intermediate and for advanced? And for the leaders, we have, it's like you have always your curriculum, the steps that you want to teach, but you have the techniques that you want to teach. And for us, the point are the techniques more than the curriculum, more than the if they do viraginia, lateral, or boomerang. Yeah. And for example, for the beginners, the leaders, that they can step all the time while doing the basics, that they don't miss any step, that they are able to move with the follower, and that they are able to lead from the upper body. These three things. Being in a straight body position. So for me, the leaders, beginners, and beginners can be, we have beginner 1, beginner 2, can be like 1.5 years.
Yeah.
And is consistently working on these things, that they do all the steps, that they lead from the upper body, that they move together with the follower. More than that they do bonus. And of course, they have to learn these things, but it's not the first focus. And for the followers, it's the same. It's the follower technique. And it starts with the... Okay, it's your part.
Yes, please.
Okay.
It's your part.
He is normally speaking most of the time, so I'm fine with that. Good for me. For followers, we have for beginners like the first idea of the body structure if it's like very, very beginners. And if it's like more advanced beginners, they start to have more clear line, more clear technique of stepping and so on. And from the moment then they are not scared to step, but like they're making clear steps in the lines, keeping upper body to the partner, but still able to wait for the leader, and we can go to intermediate class. So then they are feeling very balanced. If their body not like losing balance or so on, for us to be the steps and you can say, okay, now you can start movements and most of it.
Yeah. So what they learn is footwork, body structure, so how they use the legs, how they connect the body, how they connect with the partner through the frame, and what kind of contact they should have. These 4 things are the things for the followers. And then consistently, if we see one follower, for example, we have beginner 1 and beginner 2. Why? Beginner 1 is more for people that never danced before. That then you need to teach body structure. You need to teach what is left, what is right, what is rhythm. But if you have somebody that already was dancing, you can go faster to beginner 2. Yeah, they don't need to stay in beginner 1 all the time. And important, because of the levels, we are the one who decides who goes to beginner 1, beginner 2, intermediate. It's a source of conflicts on one side because people want to go always faster than they really are.
Yes.
Mostly, not everybody, mostly. And then you need to handle these moments, these conversations when somebody come and say, I want to learn head movements, and you feel like, I'm sorry, but still not.
Yeah. I do find that leaders have less exposure to creating new movements because they are not on the receiving end. But for followers, for example, they may be not very familiar with Zouk or did a couple of workshops and lessons. But when they go to social, they get to experience a lot of things that leaders end up leading them. And sometimes they don't know what they're doing, but they're doing. So I want to ask to Olga, how do you have that conversation with followers that come to your classes and say, oh, I want to go to this level because, you know, I've done head movement socially, I've done all the things. And how do you have that conversation to them to then explain to them the importance of the things that they didn't really work on with before?
Honestly, I'm not having these conversations very often.
I'm the bad police.
I think the students kind of from the very beginning respecting the way how we are not really telling so many students no, because they know like we will call to themselves and we will say now you're ready. But in the moment that something like this happen, normally I will give the reasons, like if it's from beginner to intermediate, like look, you're still not present in the steps, you don't know where is the lines, there is some problems with the structure, like and the follower doesn't know how to keep the body straight without going to the curve and low back, for example, or using balance or so on. So I will give some reason, which will show like, yeah, the followers still didn't really prepare to go to intermediate. But for us, it's like if the follower contends clearly basics in the straight body position, is the time to go to intermediate. We are not keeping them longer. From the moment they are comfortable to the straight, they can go more.
I see. Nice.
Sorry, just one more question.
Yes, yes.
And on the body of the follower, how do you separate the body of a beginner and the body of an intermediate?
This is the structure, the body tension, the way how they are waiting for the contact, if they are rushing or they are still able to take calm on the spot waiting for the leader. The balance is like the basic techniques about how they step, for example. If it's intermediate, you can see like they start to close the legs, they know where is the lines, they know how to break at upper bodies. If there is beginners, normally you see like they're going with open legs, so it's the things like you're taking person from outside and they're telling you now you dance, and you see like person even cannot move, or the person totally start to see the picture of dancing or the way to move.
So like the intermediate for you guys is when they have the techniques a little bit more defined in their bodies visually. Like they close their legs more, their tracks a little bit more straight, they're waiting a little longer.
They're a little bit more confident with themselves and with movement.
Nice.
Their basics are in the muscle memory, so they don't need to think so much to the basics. So the basic did the way from their heads into their body. Yeah, so they can recall the basics from the muscle memory, and they are using the basics in a way that is the way how we want, like for example, using their body, if they are the leaders. We make a distinction, for example, between the frame when it's turn inside or turn outside, without a distinction for them. And then when we see that they got this, for example, then yeah. But the picture, we did like videos for this, that is useful sometimes to explain to people. So only and me dancing like a beginner 1, like a beginner 2, like intermediate, like advanced. And then we had these videos in internet, and sometimes when they want to change the level, we tell, look, do you think you dance already like this?
Yes.
And then it's easier to visualize the way. But when they come to us, they already, I will say, respect us. We frame the situation from the very beginning. We say, look, we look nice, but we like we take it serious. And sometimes if we don't think that you can continue with the levels, you will stay longer in a level. So they know already when they come to us, because this is something that is very clear, I think, in the way how we do things.
Yeah, I think it creates the culture. The people that come to you now understand that's how you guys go, that's how you run your school, so they know that they will need to be assessed in order to go to the next level.
How is it for you?
Man, it was something. So first I wanted to say that I really love this idea, and I got to see on YouTube your videos of the intermediate dance. And I found that really, really cool idea that I want to steal at some point to have the intermediate dance so people can see, people can watch. And I remember while I was there watching your intermediate class, I could see what you guys are saying about people not thinking about the basics too much. They were doing it, felt like very naturally. And most importantly, to my eyes, they were playing with the basics. This was the most important thing for me that really caught my attention. And when I went back to DC, I was like, guys, we need to reframe our curriculum. So Alisson, remember, right? I came back to DC.
Yes.
Like, we need to redo this thing. There is something that we are skipping. There is something that we are missing because our intermediate students are still struggling with timing, are still struggling with some of the basic stuff. That was only because I saw the actual intermediate person, which is such like an open concept. And I think you guys were able to have a clear definition of what that is, show to people what that is, so they know like, oh, so this is an intermediate dance. This is what I want to get to. So I found that really good. And for us in DC, it was super similar in the sense that we created a culture of the assessment, that the students know that by the end of the cycle, they will need to get approval from us.
Mhm.
And in the beginning, there was a little bit of resistance. And over time, students start to actually ask when the assessment is. When is the assessment? They were wanting to do the assessment, not only to know if they could skip level or go to the next level. They also wanted to know where their dance was, because the assessment was always a way for them to know where they were in the dance. So we created the culture. We created the expectation that the assessment is something that is necessary and that's something that is going to happen. Yeah, Alisson, was something like that, right?
Yeah, so basically after the course finishes, every course that we have in DC is 8 weeks long. At the end of that course, we have 2 weeks break. 1 week for assessment and the other one for an actual break, because teachers need a break, students need a break, we all need a break. So on the assessment week, we have the students come to the school and we run sort of a social at the same time, where students can come in and social dance and practice with each other. And during that social, one by one can go to another room and have a 5 to 10 minutes assessment with the teacher. Some of them, it's because they want to go to another level. Some others, they're happy where they are, but they want to get the feedback to hear from their teacher. This is what you need to work on next. This is what you need to work on next. Some others, they are brand new to the school, so they want to know where they fit in. And others just want to plan their next 6 months. They're like, look, I'm happy where I am now, but I want to know, what do you think I should be working in the next 6 to 12 months so I can draw a plan? Or they ask us how to do that. So the assessment can work in multiple ways. But the assessment also works in class. There are times that we tell the students already in class at the end of the course, you're good to go. If you want to do the assessment, come and get some feedback, but you can already move on.
Yes.
So it's just another option for everybody out there, especially because we want to make sure that not only we are being more strict with our students, but also we are guiding them all the time. Instead of just saying no, 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 we want to every 2 months to have a moment with them, to have a chat with them, and to give them clarity of our future decisions. For example, instead of at the end of 9 months, for the first time that we assess them, we tell them that they've been missing all of these things and they might get frustrated and think, I wish you guys had told me this earlier. So that's one of the other reasons why we do the assessment, to keep what I call, in my own mentality, it's kind of like a fitness assessment. When you're doing some fitness challenges or anything like that, every month or every 2 months, you go there with your trainer and they make you do a set of things just to measure up how you're doing compared to the next time. And that's kind of how we do the assessment. The assessment, we ask the student, what level you are now? Oh, you're doing this class, cool. And you want to go to the next level, cool. So then we dance with them as a leader or as a follower, and we ask them to do a number of things that are expected or mandatory to be in that level. And if they meet all the things, then they're good to go.
Exactly.
When do you have socials? Do you dance with your students in the socials? So actually you know where everybody is.
More or less. We are, but we do know. But sometimes we do have students that don't come to socials. Or they may come to the social when I'm there or when Guy is there, but we didn't see them. Or they are taking classes with other teachers, because in our school we have so many teachers.
Yeah. There is one topic, because probably you know Stolarna in Czech Republic, the school of Ludek, Pavla, Monica. Okay. Then the students, for example, they do all the journey with the same couple.
Oh, that's very interesting. We actually like to do the complete opposite. We want to make sure that every level, they don't repeat teacher.
Yeah.
Because we want to make sure that they are getting different information, because we want them to not only learn one way. And yes, we basically teach the same curriculum, the same techniques, the same everything. We have trainings that we go and we agree to what we're going to teach. but the approach might be different. The things we say might be different. Even though they're learning all the same movements and the same technique, the same progression, week 1, week 2, week 3, everything is very well planned. But just the person in the class teaching the class is different.
Okay.
Yes. The exercises will change as well, depending on the instructor. It's more like emulating this idea or this philosophy that the more exposure the student have to more different ways, they will have more information, they have more references. That's something that is really important to me, is offering dancers, students that are learning, as many reference points as possible. So they can see something that resonates with them more at some point, you know?
Yeah, I think every approach has like advantages and disadvantages. I think if I will need as a teacher to stay very close to a curriculum, I will have less space to take decisions for the group because I have to follow the curriculum. I think you don't have any other chance, so this will be like the method of Stolarna. So when I'm coming to the class, when we are coming to the class, we have our system, but we take decisions on the flow about what we teach. So we take a look. We take a look to the students, and I remember the time when I was writing every week what I want to do with the people, and then I write a program for 8 weeks. And at least for me, it didn't work. I couldn't stay with fresh eyes. And I think I can develop my teacher's skills and that I can deliver the best class for the students when I can be more free of curriculum and then checking how the things are, because every day the things are different, and learning to make decisions about the things that I see. Yeah. So it's like I have one understanding about how the beginners should dance, and we have a curriculum, more or less, we have a system behind, and we repeat things like 3 weeks, but always is like at the beginning of the class, we have a plan, but we are always like taking a look, how are the students today, and taking decisions. I just think if I will need to stay with a plan, I will be developing myself maybe less and like not being very alive. I don't know, how do you feel with it? Yeah.
No, I think it's a great point, and I think we just need to clarify that for our courses, what we do is that we have a set of techniques and movements that are not very many. Maybe like in an 8 weeks course, we have 4 to 6 movements that we want to develop, and techniques and maybe concepts. And we have a guideline of what can be done in each week based on a discussion between multiple teachers. But we've had our staff asking us before, like, do we have to follow this? And we say to them, no. In the end of the day, you're the teacher. In that course, we would like all the students to have an understanding of these concepts and be able to do these movements. But if you want to delay the first 2 or 3 weeks in a different way and then catch up later, no problem. Or if you want to move things around because of what you see on the day, I don't think that's a problem. As long as you can make decisions that are, of course, best for the students. You know, if you do feel like, you know what, we have to go back, or we have to move into something else before we go back to this, I think it's one of the reasons why we do like to have a different teacher for the student at every level. Because, for example, we really encourage our students to repeat a level. So they've just done level 1 with me. Okay, so they're gonna go into level 1 with Guy next, and level 2 with me. And then again, next they're gonna do level 2 with Guy, and then level 3 with me. So they're doing the same level 2 or 3 times, but it's a completely different course because Guy and I would teach the same level differently. And we're gonna structure and prioritize things differently. So I agree with you, basically. I think that's important. I'm not sure how long are your courses. Maybe if it's longer, you have more flexibility, because ours is 8 weeks.
I'm always running. I don't have a stop for the classes.
Oh, so you're very
you have-
like Brazil style, or very
Yeah,
old
Brazil
school Brazil style.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yes,
nowadays in
which I
Brazil, I don't
love.
know how they do anymore. Yeah, originally in Brazil, basically you keep coming to that same class until the teacher tells you, okay, you're good to go to the next level. So your next class is on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Or sometimes that class graduates. That same group, they start in 2008. And then at the end of 2008, all of them graduate to beginners 2. And then at the end of 2009, they graduate to beginners 3. And sometimes you have classes that have been together for like 9 years,
Yeah.
10
this
years,
is
or more.
this is super nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one Ejaime that was together for 10 years when I arrived. They started in 1996 and they were together for all this time. They had their own church and everything. And they were changing instructors because they would give that class to different instructors, mostly because it was just a class for people to have fun. They were not learning anything new at the time. It became more of a gathering in the end of the day. And what I wanted to mention, what you brought, Fernando, is really interesting because I find soothing to have a curriculum. It actually calms me down. Different from when I don't have a curriculum, I get anxious sometimes. There is a difference for me that I make in my mind between the curriculum and the lesson plan. I think that the lesson plan can be, for me, very constraining, but the curriculum actually gives me freedom in a very interesting way because it gives me peace of mind. So one thing that I'd like to mention too is a distinction that Alisson makes actually, that I stole from him, between instructor, teacher, and coach. And sometimes in the school, we have more instructors than teachers. And the instructor is someone that sticks to the lesson plan. So sometimes they need that to be able to function. In our school, we had the situation where, for example, for 1 hour and a half, topic was viradinha. They had 1 hour and a half to teach viradinha. But the idea is that they got attached with, oh my God, I have all this time to teach viradinha. What do? I don't know what to do with all this time that I have. While for us, more experienced instructors, like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing that I have 1 hour and a half to teach viradinha. I can do so much. I can do so many exercises. I can put people to practice for this many songs. I can do this long of a warm-up. I can start preparing them for body movements, all of these things. So I think a more experienced teacher will have this different look to feel where the class is, to see where they can take them. But in the end of the day, there is still a syllabus flowing in your head. There is still a place that you want to guide people to. Your curriculum might not be set in like, this week we teach this other week we teach this. But you do have set in your mind, for this level, we want these things here. How we're going to get to it, let's see on a daily basis.
And then it sounds like our system. It sounds very similar.
Yeah, but we did have a curriculum that was really close to a lesson plan, where the curriculum was on a weekly basis, and each week you had very specific things to do and teach. And that sometimes was bringing anxiety to us because like, oh my God, the class is almost over and I still need to do this thing and I still need to do this other thing. Then it's complicated. Then what we did was that we stretched the curriculum and we made it more empty so the class plan could be more fluid. So the curriculum still has these topics that we want to bring, but there is space for the instructor, for the teacher to see what's going on in class and make the adjustments necessary, you know?
Do you have the feeling the more than you teach, the slower you do things?
Oh, 100,000% yes.
Yeah,
At
right?
least for me, yes. Yes, at least for me, yes.
And you go faster.
Absolutely.
There is one turtle, the name is Cassiopeia, and Cassiopeia, the slower she goes, the faster she goes, actually. And it feels a bit like this, like when you slow down the explanation, actually you're going faster with the students. It's something like this.
And it's very interesting because while Guy and I were teaching in DC with that curriculum, a lot of the times we couldn't finish what we had to do in that class because we were going so slow and giving so much time for the students to practice and to do. And then for the last 6 months, I have not been there, and Guy has not been there for the last year and a half. So for the time that both of us have not been there, they've felt the need to add more to each class because there was not enough.
Yes.
So when we were teaching, we felt like we could do less. And then when they started teaching, they felt like they had to put more. I think it's a mixture of maybe the students have changed. So we have different students now. Or maybe the teachers that are teaching this class, they don't see what we see in terms of how they can give exercises and ideas and concepts to the students. So it's not just viradinha. Like to teach viradinha, you can talk about 50 different things. For me, it's hard to choose all of those, which one of these 50 things. But if you're just teaching viradinha as a movement, then I know, yeah, maybe in 20 minutes you're bored. After 20 minutes, you're like, what else do I do? I should maybe put a body roll here. Maybe I should, do some musicality with the viradinha, because if you're really just thinking about the move, then one simple viradinha for 1 hour and a half, yes, I can see how that's not enough in a class. But yeah, I'm not there at the moment, so I cannot exactly tell you. But it was just interesting to see this difference between when we were there and we were not, and how different teachers saw the same curriculum completely different.
Yes, exactly.
One question come to my mind. We had Guy traveling the last year everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guy, you have to tell something about this experience and about the I want to know the differences in the social dancing in the scenes. I think the impact of the classes of the local teachers you see in the social dance floor.
Yes.
Yeah. How the people behave with each other, how the people are dancing, and like differences. What have you seen? Things that you find interesting of this experience?
Yeah, I think.
But this would be so much.
I think I can summarize the answer. However, I think it would be really nice to leave people on a cliffhanger right now. Right? What do you think, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, I think it's already time for us to take a break so we can continue on the next episode. Right now, we are getting into these other questions about not only the community locally, but what happens internationally, which we have a lot of questions for Fernando and Olga as well. So
yes,
let's take a break here. Guy?
Yeah, let's do that. And guys, don't go anywhere. I mean, go places, because the next episode is coming. I don't know when, right?
In 1 week.
When we come back with the next episodes, I will answer the question and we will have a lot more.
All right. So come with us, Fernando, Olga, and Guy, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.